Hello and welcome to Dazzle Rebel Rides. This week is the second part of my Nick Sanders MACH1 adventure in McLenith, Mid Wales. On this video I'll be reminiscing and giving my bluntly honest view of the first ever MACH1 and the facilities at the Nick Sanders Expedition Centre. But first we need to get on our way and begin our journey home, and to do that I have to navigate that bloody hill again. They say going down is easier than going up, she says, but on this dirt track I'm not quite so sure. After the first cattle grid, Bunny hopped on the back and we began our descent. We passed some cows who seemed oblivious to the big shiny Indian Chief motorcycle heading their way. Almost stubborn in their apathy, they cared enough to glance briefly our way before getting on with whatever it is cows do. The unmade road was littered with deep potholes and was at a far steeper angle than you were able to perceive from this video. Still, the sun was shining and the rolling hills that provided the beautiful backdrop were calling. Nothing else for it but to keep your concentration and keep on moving. Over the second cattle grid and we're at the bottom. A warm sense of achievement is fortified with the wave of respect from another biker.
To the SBECT, take it easy.
A very short stretch over the wooden bridge and we're back on paved roads. Time to put the power down and get motoring home. So as Bunny and I make our way across Wales, I think it's time to reflect on our last few days. So how about a little review of the MACH1 Festival? Let me start by saying that my intention had originally been to document a lot more than I eventually managed. However, a cocktail of forgetfulness and laziness on my part conspired against turning this little series into a travel channel hopeful. Nevertheless, a review I promised, so a review you shall get. Let me begin where my last video left off, after we arrived at the Nick Sanders Expedition Centre. After a warm welcome from Caroline and some other guests, we were shown around the site. Situated near the town of McLenith, the Nick Sanders Expedition Centre is placed among beautiful countryside featuring rolling hills, valleys and freshwater streams. It feels like you're stepping back in time to when life was much more simple. A time when you took things by the seasons and lived off the fat of the land. The simple elegance of the centre reminds me of a John Steinbeck novel, while the grand magnificence of the surroundings is more vivid and imposing than anything Thomas Hardy could conjure up for his fictitious Wessex countryside. I'm halfway through reading the first book of Nick Sanders' life story and I already understand why he has chosen to live here. The accommodation is simple yet comfy, with a choice of cabins or bell tents, depending on your requirements. Bunny and I opted to make the most of our glamping experience and we chose a bell tent. Though the word tent doesn't really do it justice. If you readjusted your preconceptions of what a tent is to include wigwams, then you would be a lot closer to what these bell tents are. Fitted with a wood-burning stove and warm, comfortable beds, it doesn't really feel much like camping at all.
I think he wants to get past.
After a long ride, the luxury of our accommodation and grace of our surroundings gives us a lovely sense of well-being, and it's not long before we fall fast asleep. Following morning, we take a leisurely walk down along the stream to Expedition HQ. The Expedition HQ is where the business takes place. We break our fast with a home-cooked meal or some traditional porridge, accompanied by Nick's very own brand of coffee. The dining table is a large, solid wooden affair and will sit at least a dozen intrepid travellers comfortably. The HQ also houses several of Nick's round-the-world bicycles and motorcycles, along with a cinema room and, of course, his famous Union Jack jacket. Everywhere you look, there's memorabilia and trinkets from his travels, but it's neither ostentatious or grandiose. It's just a simple collection of things acquired from living a life less ordinary. After a relaxing morning, we head down to the MACH1 Festival site. Conceived by Nick as a Krypton Factor, clue-based treasure hunt on motorcycles, it's a biker festival like no other. Being early afternoon, we're already well behind the early risers who registered their entry seemingly at first light. Still, we didn't really come here for a competition, we came here for a relaxing weekend away, and so we soon decide that the treasure hunt aspect of the festival isn't really for us. Instead of heading out to find clues, we head into McLenith to find lunch. It's a picturesque town with a slower way of life than what we're used to, but the locals are friendly and accommodating and are used to the tourists. Memories of childhood holidays in deepest Wales, where the natives start speaking Welsh and eye you with suspicion as soon as they hear your Southern English accent, are firmly corrected and put in the past. After an afternoon in the town, we head back to base camp. With our India motorcycle parked up, we eat some dinner and hire a taxi back to the MACH1 site to check out the evening's entertainment. After reading the guidebook and seeing the acts which had been booked, I must admit I was a little apprehensive about how enjoyable our evening would be. Being blatantly honest, my fears were justified as the acts booked didn't really make me want to party. Of course, I am more used to traditional biker festivals and rallies where the evening entertainment will generally be rock bands playing music that is much closer to my heart. I understand that Nick wanted a different kind of festival, but for me, the acts provided would have worked better earlier on as people were eating or beginning to gather. Unfortunately for me, the evening entertainment was a little flat. Of course, opinions are like buttholes, as everyone has one, and many people probably found the entertainment was right up their street. My misgivings about the entertainment aside, I thoroughly enjoyed my MACH1 experience and would definitely like to make the next one. If I do make next year, then I'm probably going to form a team for the treasure hunt and in turn see a lot more of the stunning countryside that Wales has to offer. If you fancy touring mid-Wales by motorcycle, then I would highly recommend staying at the Expedition Centre. It's perfectly situated to some amazing roads, and the team are on hand to advise and steer you towards some roads less travelled. Everything about the Nick Sanders experience was friendly and hospitable. The food, be it Caroline's home-cooked breakfasts or the local cuisine in Macleneth, was top-notch. If you want an alternative biking experience to your normal bike rally, then book yourself up for MACH 2. Thanks for watching, folks. If you've made it this far, then you must have enjoyed the vibe, so be sure to hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit the like button also, and if you have any comments, then I would love to hear from you. Drop me a line below and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If you missed last week, then click the I button in the top right hand corner, and next week is MACH1 Part 3. Now this one will be a long one, but that's basically because it's a pure riding video. Now this is where, aside from the intro and outro, all you get is ride footage accompanied by music. For more information, tune in next week. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you next Thursday at 6 PM GMT.